So as you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning, like Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even look at them.
For years, the WNBA battled for more visibility, more respect, and more fans. Now that exciting new stars have crashed onto the scene and sparked a wave of fresh attention, the league finds itself under fire for a problem no one can ignore: officiating. That looks more and more suspect with every game. The questions on everyone's mind are too big to brush aside. Has the WNBA lost control of its refs, or is something deeper at play? The recent explosion of controversy centers on missed calls, furious coaches, outraged fans, and even a rumored and suspension of Commissioner Kathy Angelbert herself. This is more than just a few questionable whistles. It's a full-blown crisis that could undermine everything the league has worked for. Buckle up. This story is as wild as it gets.
They've done a great job of rigging this. They've done a great job of rigging this league. The league, they're not even being subtle. They're not even being subtle. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
If you were among the thousands of fans who jammed into the arena or tuned in from home to watch the Indiana Fever take on the Liberty, you know it started as a dream matchup. The Fever had momentum, Caitlin Clark was lighting up highlight reels, and the Liberty were defending champs boasting a star-studded roster. The energy in the building was insane, more like a playoff showdown than a regular season tilt. Observers expected a high-scoring shootout featuring the league's hottest talents. Then the officiating overshadowed it all. Rough contact against signature players went unnoticed. Fever defenders swore they played textbook defense, only to be whistled for phantom fouls.
The fact that this referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me. Like when I saw that, I said, this is really strange, because the referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss some.
Meanwhile, the Liberty seemed to benefit from nuances in the whistle that led to an avalanche of free throw attempts. In the end, the stats were jarring. The Liberty took more than double the free throws the Fever did. Fans wondered if Indiana was playing with a literal target on its back. What sparked the most controversy was the sequence in the fourth quarter when Clark drove to the hoop, got clobbered from what appeared to be multiple angles, and no foul was awarded.
I can't believe what I'm about to say. The Indiana Fever, with the strongest, loudest, most intimidating home court advantage in all the WNBA, just got robbed at home. I saw it with my own two eyes live on CBS.
Even neutral viewers on social media declared it the biggest missed call of the season. Adding fuel to the fire, the officiating crew refused to engage with the Fever players after the final buzzer. People posted clips of Clark and Sophie chasing after a referee who churned his legs up court and avoided their gaze like he was sprinting from an angry mob. The video went viral, leading to tens of thousands of furious comments under the WNBA's Instagram posts. For the fans, this wasn't just another game. This was proof of something ominous. The league was letting biased refereeing overshadow legitimate basketball.
Just another year and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
The outcry from the Indiana Fever wasn't just reserved for Twitter rants or post-game commentary. Head coach Stephanie White faced the press with a steely expression, insisting her team will control what they can control, but also highlighting that the free throw disparity was ridiculous. She questioned how the Fever, known for their aggressive drives to the bucket, could shoot so few free throws while their opponents practically lived at the stripe. This wasn't idle complaining. She wanted answers.
Disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter, because it was a tight ball game.
Clark generally measured. In interviews, couldn't hide her disbelief either. She didn't mouth off, but her exasperated stares said everything, and it wasn't just her. Aaliyah Boston, one of the most electrifying front court talents, chose the classic no comment when asked about the officiating. But everyone who's followed the sport knows that kind of silence often carries more weight than a rant. Rumors circulated that players from other teams reached out to Clark, saying, "Welcome to the league. We've been dealing with this for a while." At the national level, ESPN anchors, basketball analysts, and retired WNBA legends brought it up repeatedly. How can the WNBA expect to grow when the biggest games are overshadowed by officiating fiascos? The league's brand hinges on credibility, on showcasing raw talent, and on giving fans something real. But if a star like Caitlin Clark is hacked on every other play without so much as a whistle, even casual viewers can sense the underlying problem. And that's what's new. Millions of new casuals are tuning in because of Clark, only to discover a league in turmoil. The moment Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, it felt like a cultural reset for women's basketball. Fans who had barely paid attention before suddenly cared about league standings and primetime matchups. Social media lit up with highlights of her long-range bombs and bullet passes. Attendance soared wherever she played. Ticket sales went through the roof in opposing arenas. And people who'd never tuned in before started wondering where they could watch the next Fever game. Clark's style of play is dynamic. She's shifty, vocal, and fearless, pulling up from distances many players wouldn't dream of. But it's not just her on-court flair that has fans enthralled. Her fiery personality and authenticity draw people in. She talks openly about wanting to change the league, to break boundaries, to lead by example for a new generation of girls who love basketball. That confidence is contagious, and for the WNBA, it was a golden opportunity to capture a mainstream audience. Yet with any meteoric rise comes scrutiny. Opposing players noticed she gets battered and bruised more than typical. Rookies and fans saw how rarely the referees blew the whistle. Clark is too big a name to protect quietly. Her every move is on camera in front of millions. So when calls don't go her way, or seem one-sided, legions of fans cry foul faster than the officials can blow a whistle. It's a simmering issue that, until recently, the league tried to hush up. Now, it's boiling over like never before. Long before Clark's arrival, whispers about inconsistent officiating floated around the WNBA. Players would roll their eyes at unwanted fouls. Coaches gave subtle post-game jabs at referees, and fans often argued the calls on social media. But it wasn't until the last 2 seasons that these whispers grew into open outrage. From questionable technicals to invisible contact that somehow becomes a foul, each game seemed to have a handful of "are you kidding" moments. Experts who followed the league for years claim this officiating slump arose from a combination of factors. An influx of new referees, confusing officiating guidelines that changed from year to year, and poor communication from the league office about what is and isn't a legitimate foul. Reports and rumors also suggest certain officials favor specific teams or players, even if unconsciously. The result? Games that feel lopsided. Skeptical fans see star players for big market teams get calls that smaller market players can only dream of. And lately, the WNBA's own social platforms have become a war zone, where fans post screenshots and clips of blatantly missed calls, demanding accountability. But for many, the real frustration lies in the league's apparent unwillingness to address the issues head-on. Statements about working with officiating crews to improve quality feel flimsy when the same controversies pop up every week. No matter how many times coaches bring up the free throw disparities, the next box score seems to echo the same story. That's why the fuse was so short by the time the Indiana Fever faced the New York Liberty. The frustration was there, the suspicion was there. All it needed was a spark. Then came the biggest bombshell. Rumors that Commissioner Kathy Angelbert herself had been suspended. At first, it sounded too wild to be true. How does a professional sports league suspend its own commissioner? Yet multiple insiders tipped off. Major media outlets claiming the league had reached a breaking point. The official reason? Angelbert's alleged failure to address the mounting criticisms around officiating. But behind the scenes, people whispered that her blatant favoritism towards certain big market teams was no secret. For the owners of smaller franchises, it was the final straw. The scandal fueled a frenzy on social media. People screenshot posts that showed Angelbert wearing Liberty colors during last season's finals, smiling from ear to ear as she handed them the trophy under a cloud of questionable officiating. Conspiracy theories that the league rigs games for marquee teams or big TV markets exploded on YouTube channels, Reddit threads, and basketball blogs. It's one thing for fans to float that idea as harmless chatter. It's quite another for the commissioner to unofficially confirm the optics by dressing in a champion's exact color scheme. Even if it was unintentional, the damage was done. People claimed it proved everything they suspected. At a PR level, the WNBA was in full damage control mode. An official press release tried to bury the phrase internal administrative leave in a paragraph. It used legalese to hint that the league's top executive was stepping back while an investigation took place. But the coverage had already hit mainstream sports talk shows. The story blew up faster than the WNBA could manage. And the frantic hush coming from league offices only made it seem more suspicious. What sparked the push to put Angelbird on ice? The short answer: owners with power who'd had enough. According to these insiders, certain teams share a sense of being neglected by the suits at league headquarters. For them, market size shouldn't determine how fairly you're officiated or how much your requests for scheduling equity are acknowledged. The minute a star like Caitlin Clark sides with the complaints, the league can't just ignore it anymore. A wave of new fans equals new scrutiny, and if the league's leaders appear incompetent or complicit, sponsors and TV partners might start walking away. So, Angelbird became the face of the crisis. Some claim she had been ignoring officiating complaints for months, as the frustration rose from a simmer to a rolling boil. Others argue she was made a scapegoat, that the officiating meltdown stems from years of poor infrastructure and minimal budget for referee development. The truth may lie somewhere in the middle. Either way, from a PR perspective, removing the person at the very top sends a message. We hear you. We'll do something. But will that something fix the refereeing fiasco? Fans are doubtful, especially when the league's official statements remain vague. Behind closed doors, rumors persist that a few owners want to tear the entire officiating system down and rebuild it with fresh leadership. They want advanced replay technology, stricter evaluations for refs, and more accountability for missed calls, even if that means publicly admitting mistakes. Meanwhile, another faction pushes for business as usual, hoping the hype around the controversies will die down if they just keep the positive marketing going. Here's where the entire WNBA stands at a crossroads. On one hand, the league's popularity is surging. More fans are attending games, merchandise is selling out, and endorsements are skyrocketing thanks to iconic players like Clark, Sabrina, Ionescu, Aja Wilson, and others. Sponsorship deals from major companies are rolling in. Broadcasting networks are giving women's hoops better time slots, and new expansions are on the horizon. Growth has never been more promising. On the other hand, credibility is everything. When a basketball league's top highlights consist of fans screaming, "Rigged!" and coaches raging at referees, it sullies the product. Even the casual observer sees how officiating can swing a game. If people begin to believe the fix is in, they'll lose trust. Slowly but surely, they might turn away. The WNBA's success story hinges on viewers who come for the novelty of a new star, but stay for the quality of the competition. When that competition smells rigged, they won't come back. The bigger question is whether the new wave of fans, many of them following Caitlin Clark's journey from her college days, will remain supportive if the league doesn't fix its internal issues. Even more significantly, can the WNBA risk souring the relationship with these fans right when it's capturing mainstream attention? Rival leagues, 3-on-3 tournaments, and global competitions are no joke. There's a real possibility that a frustrated fan base might flock somewhere else for their basketball fix. The turmoil swirling around the WNBA right now might feel surreal, but it also underscores that the league's future is in a pivotal moment. Big controversies bring big opportunities for change, or for total collapse. The officiating scandal that erupted after the Fever vs. Liberty game revealed deep cracks in the foundation. Players are fed up, coaches are demanding respect, and fans are pointing out every inconsistency on social media. The rumored suspension of Commissioner Kathy Angelbird underscores just how serious it's gotten. People at the top are worried the WNBA can't afford another fiasco without damaging its reputation for good. Yet, there's an undeniable sense of hope amid the chaos. The league is attracting more viewers than ever, fueling new energy around women's sports. If the WNBA can seize this moment to enact real officiating reforms, bring in transparent oversight, and restore faith in the fairness of its games, it could transform the crisis into a turning point. For every outrage tweet calling the league rigged, there's another praising the explosive talent on the court and the electric atmosphere in the arenas. So where do we go from here? Whether or not Angelbird keeps her position, the calls for accountability will only grow louder. The era of hush-hush officiating mishaps is over. Fans demand more clarity and consistency. Coaches want their players protected, stars and rookies alike, and players want a fair shot at letting their talents shine. If the WNBA fails to step up, it risks alienating the very people it needs the most, the believers who've rallied around. Caitlin Clark and other rising stars, the younger generation who see themselves in these athletes, and the bigger sponsors who've just begun to pencil checks that validate the league's potential. At the end of the day, this all boils down to trust. Fans want to believe in a clean, competitive game. Players want to feel confident that performance, not politics, dictates who wins. The WNBA stands on the precipice of greatness. Its audience is larger. Its influence is stronger. The only thing left is to do the hard work of cleaning house, whether that means revamping officiating, building new transparency measures, or clearing out the top brass if they won't level the playing field. That's the crux of the matter. Prove to the world that the WNBA truly is the future of basketball, not just a league stuck in controversy. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Are the refs truly this incompetent, or is there more going on? Behind the scenes, will the league fix itself in time to keep hold of its newly captivated audience? Or will controversies like this overshadow the brilliant basketball we're all tuning in for? Sound off with your thoughts, because in a time like this, every voice matters, especially if the WNBA hopes to keep growing. And if you're still here, you're the kind of fan that'll push this league forward. Stay tuned, because no matter how it all shakes out, this story is far from over.